Nigerians have been charged to rescue all forms of segregation, sectionalism, which could further tear apart the country on the basis of feudal tribalism. This was the major point at the pro-election press briefing of Community Life Project, Justice Development and Peace Center at Caritas, Nigeria, held at Yaba, Lagos, Nigeria. Galaxy News correspondent Levi Joseph was at the event, tells us more.
The three civil society organizations, which deployed over 3,000 accredited observers and hundreds of volunteers to monitor the just concluded elections across the country, declared that there was low turnout of voters and vehemently condemned intimidation of voters, especially those that were perceived as non-indigents. This development was described as an evil move, which has to be combated quickly before it degenerated to a national chaos.
Seeing ourselves as one, not based on tribes, not based on ethnic profiling or whatever it is. Wherever you find yourself, you are a citizen of this country and you have every right to live in that place and make your own contribution and continue to flourish there. And wherever you find that anyone is trying to bring up such things, it's also important to shut it down.
They don't want to come into office through a free and fair process. So they weaponized poverty, they weaponized ethnicity, and they raised this army on the streets, to carry out their bidding. I think that we need to do a mindset adjustment and think, how do we salvage this army of young people whose lives have been wasted away?
The Nigerian political elites were called upon to desist from instigating Nigerians against each other for selfish political gains. Also, Nigerians were implored to see each other as one indivisible family, that whose set goal is basically to strive for greater Nigerian nation.
So we need to see those who perpetrated the thuggery as victims. Poverty is being weaponized by the forces who want to impose themselves on citizens and subvert the will of the people. In our political history, since we talked to Civil, we have been dealing with a section of the ruling class, a class of people who do not want to submit themselves to a free and fair process in elections.
It's not just like somebody comes from one hated ethnic origin, but if you look like such persons, you are profiled. It's not different from what Eric Blair wrote in his book called 1984. He said, time shall come when government will kill somebody or state actors will kill somebody.
Though the conduct of the just concluded elections is seen as below expectations, it was declared that Nigerians need to hold their political office holders accountable for development and progress of the country, socially and economically.
However they got there, while that is being interrogated, citizens must hold them accountable for as long as they are sitting in those positions. We have to demand that they do what they are supposed to do. We have to demand that they spend public funds to provide services for citizens as they should.
The people that were responsible for this attack on our system, on our laws, on our constitution, on our people, and the people at the end of this exercise that will become their excellencies, whether at the level of presidency, at the level of governorship, at the level of state houses of assembly and national assembly. They cannot be friends of the people if the people do not feel safe under your watch.